Every day, at the same time, you do the same thing. You pick up the pill, take it with a sip of water, and go on with your day. You've done this for years. You might not even remember the exact reason anymore. You just know your doctor said it was necessary. And at the same time, every day, you also feel the same thing, tired. A tiredness that doesn't go away with sleep or coffee or a weekend of rest. Maybe you've already blamed your age. Maybe you've blamed your sleep, your stress, even the weather. But there's a question almost nobody asks, because it seems unthinkable. What if part of that tiredness is hiding inside the very medication you take, without even thinking about it every single day? Before we go any further, one thing needs to be absolutely clear, and it's going to come up again throughout this video. At no point is the idea here to suggest that you stop or change any medication on your own. Never do that by yourself. The only goal of this investigation is to give you information so you can bring a better question to your doctor. With that said, let's start the investigation. Millions of people over 60 take at least one ongoing medication every day. High blood pressure, cholesterol, reflux, diabetes, anxiety. It's so common that almost nobody questions it. The medication becomes part of the routine, like brushing your teeth. And that's exactly where the problem lives. Things that become automatic stop being watched. Start with high blood pressure. One of the most widely used classes of drugs to control it deliberately slows the heart rate, making the heart beat more slowly. That protects the heart, no question. But an analysis pooling data from more than 35,000 patients, published in an international medical review, confirmed that this type of medication really does increase the risk of patient-reported fatigue. In smaller surveys, as many as 3 out of every 10 people reported feeling more tired after starting treatment. A slower heart, a slower body. But that's not the most intriguing part. There's a medication used by millions of diabetics, one of the most widely prescribed drugs in the world, that over the years can quietly interfere with how the body absorbs vitamin B12. A study published this very year, using data from the All of Us research program at the U.S. National Institutes of Health, followed nearly 15,000 diabetic patients and found that people who use this medication over long periods have a 67% higher likelihood of developing a deficiency in that vitamin, compared to people who never used it. And the problem is, the symptoms of that deficiency, fatigue, weakness, trouble concentrating, are almost identical to the symptoms someone already chalks up to simply getting older. It's as if the body is shouting a warning and the mind is mistranslating it. And it's not just that one medication. Drugs used for acid reflux, taken by millions of people every day, reduce stomach acid to protect the esophagus. The problem is, that same acid is necessary for the body to absorb vitamin B12 from food. A recent systematic review, pooling multiple studies with nearly 700 older patients, showed a drop of up to 18% in vitamin B12 levels after a year of continuous use. It's not a universal rule. The researchers themselves acknowledge that other earlier studies didn't find the same association, but it's a real enough possibility to deserve attention. Again, it's worth repeating, this isn't a reason to stop any medication on your own. It's a reason to ask. There's a huge difference between those two things, and that difference could be exactly what protects your health, instead of putting it at risk. But why doesn't anyone talk about this more often? Maybe because each symptom, on its own, seems too small to take seriously. A little more tiredness here, a little less energy there. Nobody connects the dots, because each doctor's visit usually deals with one problem at a time, and rarely does anyone stop to ask, could these medications, together, over the years, be interacting with each other in a way nobody's noticed? There's still a third category, maybe the quietest one of all. Some medications used for anxiety, allergies, or insomnia have a known sedative effect, but one that builds up very slowly in the body, almost imperceptibly, day after day. The person doesn't feel an obvious drowsiness, they just feel a constant fog, a heavier body, never connecting it to the pill they've been taking for years. There's also another widely used medication, this time for cholesterol, sitting in the medicine cabinet of roughly 1 in every 4 people over 60 in the United States. Some users report mild muscle aches and a sense of physical weakness, especially in the legs, which is often mistaken for simply getting older. Research on this effect is still debated among scientists themselves, but enough so that doctors already consider, in some cases, adjusting the dose or formulation when a patient reports this kind of symptom. Again, an adjustment that can only be made under a doctor's supervision, never on your own. None of these cases, on their own, is cause for alarm. The vast majority of these medications remain essential, often life-saving. The point here isn't fear, it's attention. There's also a phenomenon that geriatricians know well, but that rarely reaches the public. The more different medications a person takes at the same time, the higher the chance those medications interact with each other in ways no single test can catch. It's not uncommon to find people over 65 taking 5, 6, sometimes more than 8 different medications every day, each one prescribed at a different point in their life, by different doctors, without anyone ever stopping to look at the whole picture, all of them together at once. Picture an orchestra where every musician rehearsed alone, in separate rooms, without ever hearing the others play. Each medication, on its own, can do exactly what it's supposed to. But together, playing at the same time, the result isn't always the harmony you'd expect. One of the simplest ways to look into this is through basic blood work, the kind that can be requested during a routine checkup, checking vitamin B12 levels and other markers related to the body's energy. It's quick, affordable, and it can reveal answers that years of "it's just your age" never did. And there are also simple everyday changes that help the body cope better with this quiet wear and tear, without interfering with any medical treatment. A balanced diet, with good sources of B-complex vitamins, helps the body make up for part of that loss. Regular physical activity, even moderate, improves circulation and energy throughout the day. Taking care of sleep quality and getting natural morning light also strengthens energy naturally, complementing, never replacing, medical care. Many people describe a similar feeling, a quiet certainty that something changed, without being able to point to exactly what. The body keeps functioning, routine tests usually come back, within normal range, and yet, the energy from before seems to have stayed in another decade. It's exactly in that gap, between "everything's normal on the tests" and "I don't feel normal," that this investigation into medications starts to matter, because routine blood work doesn't always specifically include the markers these medications affect the most. There are people who've taken the same medications for decades and remain active, energetic, full of life. The difference, often, isn't about abandoning treatment. It's about reviewing it carefully, from time to time, together with someone who understands the subject. Doctors often call this a medication review, a kind of full checkup of everything being taken, medication by medication, to understand whether that combination still makes sense the way it was put together, sometimes over 10 or 15 years. It's simple to ask for. Just ask, at your next appointment, whether it makes sense to review the entire list of medications you're taking together, including supplements and vitamins too. Many doctors welcome that kind of question because it shows the patient is engaged with their own care, not distrustful of it. And that's exactly why this investigation ends where it began, with a simple question to ask, not a decision to make on your own. If the tiredness you feel every day has never come up with your doctor in the context of the medications you take, maybe that's the question that's been missing. Never stop, never adjust, never swap anything on your own. Just bring that question into the doctor's office. Science keeps studying how different combinations of medications, used over years, interact with the body's energy, nutrition, and aging, looking for safer ways to care for patients who, like you, take important medications every single day. Go back to that pill in the palm of your hand. It's probably still necessary. But maybe, for the first time, it's worth asking not just what it's treating, but what else it might be quietly changing inside you. The question isn't whether you should keep taking your medication. The question is, have you already asked everything you needed to ask about it?